All right, this is Saturday morning, our Millionaire Mentorship call, and we're in the process of closing out the year. And as we, over the last over the last 4 weeks, we have done a series called New You for the New Year. And the purpose of that series is to really put us in place with how we want to be, what we want to do, what we want to accomplish over the next year. And just reviewing briefly, you remember we talked about facing the facts and analyzing our current situation, setting the sails for change, where we determine and decide exactly, where we want to go, what our goals are. Number 3, really setting our goals and objectives. And number 4, to take action. And so once we've done that, the purpose of doing that is to really create a new you, a new person that goes into the new year. And the reason that's important is because all the things that happen to us are based on who we are, how we feel about ourselves, what we do, and who we spend our time with. And so when we talk about a new you for the new year, well, once we've assessed our situation and looked at all the things that made us good or slowed us down, you might say the victories and lessons for the last year, then we want to consider now, who is the person that I would like to march into the new year? No, not march. I think one of the keys for the new year is to charge. When the rhinoceros is on the open plain, whenever there's something that he wants or something that threatens him, he charges. And so one of the things we want to do is to charge into the new year. Don't take it mamby-pamby. Don't walk into it. Don't go into it to check it out. You want to go into it to make it happen. How do you know what the new year is going to be like? Well, you know it by creating it yourself. So we will literally create our new year, create the year that's coming up, so that next year this time we can sit back and look at all the victories we had and look at all the things we accomplished based on the goals we set right now. And those of you who may be just joining us who have not been a part of the series, it's available on www.lifeskilltv.com. That's www.lifeskill, LIFESKILLT, Thomas, V, Victory.com. So this new person is going into the new year. There's certain things that this new person really wants to incorporate into their being as they go forward. And the first thing that we really have to look at as we're going into the new year is what new thoughts, what new thoughts must we have? What new thoughts must we cultivate for the new year to be exactly the way we want it to be? Well, as we said in part 3 of this series, you must set your goals and objectives for the year. There are 2 types of goals. There are goals from and there are goals to. If you don't have your goals set, then there's nothing on which to focus your thoughts. Many times in life we have goals from. In other words, we may be in a bad situation. We may be in a negative environment, and our goal is to just get out of it. But it's the funny thing about goals from. There was that old mafia picture, I think one of the Godfather pictures, and I think it was Michael. He was saying that every time he got out of the syndicate of the mafia, it would always pull him back in. Okay? Well, when you have goals from, when you run away from them, when you get away from them, there's a tendency to pull you back in. I was watching we were doing a seminar last week, and I was watching a lady in the parking lot, and this man confronted her, and was obviously her boyfriend, and he was speaking very harshly, very negatively to her. He blocked the way, and just would not let her pass, and was pushing her. And so I called the cops. Okay, when the cops came, okay, she literally kissed him and went on into the restaurant, into the hotel. And so She had a goal. She really wanted to get away from that person. But he pulled her back in by submitting to something that you don't want. And so goals from may get you out of a situation temporarily, but there's a strong tendency to pull you back in. The stronger type of goals are the goals to. It's much easier to shoot at a target than to run from a condition. Let me say that again. It's much easier to shoot at a target than to run from a condition. And so the new you for this new year, this new person that's going to experience and create the new year, has to have definite goals and a vision of what they want to do, be, and have. So those of you who are on the line, if you have not written your goals, and we've been through this, it says, write the vision, make it plain. First it says, where there is no vision, the people perish. And so if you have no goals, if you have no goals, then your life is just like a thistle in the wind. And so between now and the end of this year, if your goals are not written, and I mean written in stone, as it says, write the vision and make it plain upon tablets, that he may run that readeth it. Though it may tarry, wait for it, it will surely come to pass. So step one is to have written goals. So assuming that you have created those written goals and put them down on a sheet of paper, and I mean in goals in all areas, financial goals, family goals, personal development goals, community goals, social goals. But I find that when you don't have specific goals, then they are not goals. For me, I tend to make money goals, material goals, and the other goals sort of organize around that. Not that the money or the material goal is primary, it's just that it's easier to count and measure your progress along the way. As you increase your financial success, it should change your being. Another one of your goals should be to change your being to become that person that you want to be in all aspects. You know, once we solve the riddle of survival, we are literally free. So with that framework in mind, that you have actually set your goals, that you've actually written them down, then the new you can use that as a foundation. Without those goals, anything that you build is on sinking sand. So the first thing for the new year is, the new you is to really think new thoughts. Think thoughts of possibility as opposed to limitation. Go from, make do to can do. Go from never enough to always enough. Go to that point of believing that there's always enough of whatever you need to get whatever you want. And so to think positive thoughts of empowerment. Positive thoughts create positive results. Negative thoughts create negative results. Thoughts are like seeds, and they grow in accord with their nature. And so over the new year, you should only think positive thoughts. You should only say positive things. You know that when you say, I am sick, it is said that a man shall have whatsoever he saith. Also, the universe is spoken into existence. Your personal universe is spoken into existence. So don't verbalize, don't think any thoughts that are not compatible to, conducive to, congruent with your goals, your vision, and your purpose. And see, that's why the goal is so important. Most people that fail because they don't have clearly defined goals. So between now and the end of this year, before you step into next year, your goals should be crystal clear, like diamonds in the sand. So the number one thing for the new you is to think positive thoughts, think empowering thoughts, think thoughts that support your goal. Example, one of my goals, for example, is to create a certain level of income. Okay? And so my thoughts now are compatible with creating that certain level of income. So my thoughts will be thoughts of taking action, thoughts of how many calls must I make a day, thoughts of how do I have to present myself in such a fashion that I can build and expand my team. So the new you has new thoughts for the new year. Empowering thoughts and thoughts that are congruent with and consistent with your vision, your goals, and your purpose. Number 2, the new you must have an emotional checkup. Okay? You know, one of the things that really destroys our vision and our dreams are negative emotions. You know, fear, lack, limitation, insecurity, doubt. And so if you think of fear, doubt, insecurity, these negative emotions can undermine your vision for yourself. You know, the interesting thing about the law of thought is it says, a man shall have whatsoever he thinks in his heart. I like to put it in the neutral, a person shall have whatsoever they think in their heart. And so the emotional aspect of who you are is critical. That is a seed which will manifest no matter what. So you must look at your emotions. Look back over the last year as we did earlier, and look at the emotions. Maybe it was fear of rejection. And maybe that fear of rejection and kept you from asking another question, kept you from making another call, kept you from going that extra mile. And so if you're going to become the person you want to be and achieve the things you want to do this new year, you're going to have to overcome that fear of rejection. How about the fear? There's another that you may say, the fear of the loss of love. You know, some people crave affection, crave love. They need that. That's an emotional magnet pulling into their space things that satisfy that craving, though those things may not be good for you. So to look at your emotions and enhance and support the emotions that are congruent with your dreams, your goals, your vision, your purpose. So take the emotion of insecurity, for example. And emotions can be reprogrammed in your subconscious mind. Very often, you know, we used to talk about something called self-talk. And you'll find, if you notice athletes and you watch sporting events, you'll find athletes doing something called self-talk. In other words, they're reprogramming their self-conscious mind by talking to themselves. I'm going to win. I remember the story of Nadia Comaneci when she was, her coach, I think, Bella Caroli, looked at the score and he says, you need a 10. And her affirmation to herself was, need a 10, got a 10, got a 10, got a 10. And she got a 10. And so a way to reprogram our emotions is through self-talk, affirmation. I'm going to win this, okay? I got to get up this morning, get myself up out the bed, you know. I have courage. I don't care. In other words, you start to reprogram yourself, like the fear of rejection, for example. Many of us are in business for ourselves, and nobody likes rejection when people say no, you know. Sometimes you can take it personally and say no, and thinking that the rejection is personal. It's a rejection of you as a person, as a human being. But when you start to reprogram that mind for this new you, you look at rejection as had nothing to do with me. I am a great, incredible, powerful individual. That's an affirmation you want to say. You may use it. I am a great, incredible, powerful individual. I'll say it again. I am a great, incredible, powerful individual. And when you start reprogramming your mind, so then when somebody rejects you, they're rejecting whatever the program was, has nothing to do with you, because you are a great, incredible, powerful individual. Start to reprogram your emotions by self-talk. Say things to yourself that you want to have. You know, it says, a man shall have whatsoever he saith. Positive programming. Don't sayeth anything that you don't want it. So you begin to reprogram your emotions by self-talk, okay? By self-feel. You know, a part of the feeling nature of emotions is not just the words too, it's the feeling, it's the movement, it's the attitude. And so this new you must have an emotional attitude of success. Some people say your altitude is determined by your attitude. And so an attitude of victory. I have an attitude of success. I have a money-making attitude. That's one of my affirmations I love to say. I have a money-making attitude. I have a whole series of money affirmations, health affirmations. One of my friends' wife was having a challenge, and I said, well, listen, this is an affirmation. My body knows what to do and does it to heal itself, protect itself, and keep it healthy. My body knows what to do and does it to heal itself, protect itself, and keep it healthy. That as you reprogram your emotional condition by self-talk and by self-demonstration. In other words, you walk, your emotions are projected by how you walk. So walk through the world like a champion. Your emotions are projected by how you talk. You know, when you're insecure and you fear rejection, you can't talk with authority. Because when a person says no, you take it personally. But if you feel inside that I am a powerful, wonderful, incredible person, then you start to walk like that person. You start to talk like that person. We used to say in the old success training, to fake it until you make it. Sound kind of corny, but what it said was, when you begin to act the part, you become the part. Once you begin to act successful, walk through the world like a champion, eye contact. That when you talk to people, you look them in the face, and you look them in the eyes and you talk with them like you really care, because you do. And so you begin to become the emotion that you want to project. Your emotions are projected by how you dress. I once encountered a person who always dressed down, very attractive lady, but she always dressed down because she felt that her beauty attracted negative stuff into her life. Okay? And so she suppressed one of her greatest assets. So she can reprogram her mind by just saying, I'm a beautiful, incredible person. The world loves to speak to me, to interact with me. So reprogram your emotions so that your emotions are consistent with your goals, your vision, and your purpose. If your goal is to make a certain amount of money, then your emotions should be consistent with that. You begin to feel it. You begin to project it. The third aspect of the new you is your habits. Now that you've looked back over the last year and seen what the last year has brought to you, how do you make the changes? Well, once your goals are in place, then anything that you do that is not consistent with your goal, anything that you do that does not support your goal, you change those habits. You see, in the beginning, you create your habit, but over time, your habit creates you. And so if you have a history of being late, eventually lateness becomes a part of your being. And so begin to create habits now that support your goal. Habits of maybe being on time. A good habit that you can develop next year is the habit of writing your daily plan the night before. Make a list of the things you have to do tonight before you go to bed, so that you can give your subconscious a chance to work on it. Right? Look at your habits such as activity. Time is the one equalizer. We all have the same number of hours in a day. And so procrastination and time wasting is a habit. And so you may want to reprogram your habits by saying, what is the best use of my time right now, considering my goals, my vision, and my purpose? And so once you look at those goals, your vision, your purpose, then you say, now, if this activity right now does not support my goals, vision, and purpose, so don't do it. Okay. Number one, another issue is to make it a habit of reading your goals 3 or 4 times a day. Paste them on your mirror. Paste them in the bathroom. Paste them at the places you need to see them. Write them in your notebook. It is said, every success book you read says that you must read your goals over 3 or 4 times a day. and read them with feeling. So that is a habit that will change the outcome of next year. If you've written your goals and written them concisely and specifically, and you read them over 2 or 3 times a day, you cannot fail to accomplish them. And then finally, the new you is determined by who you associate with. You know, we can create all of the great images and the great affirmations and the great thoughts, but who we associate with will, to a large extent, determine what will happen to us by the end of next year. You know, there's a saying that in order to change your life, you must change your playthings. That's the things that you spend your time doing. Your playground, the environment in which you spend your time. You know, when you start creating the new you, the environment in which you're living right now might not be compatible with the goals you're seeking. And so you may have to change your environment. If you can't change it, you may have to get out of it. So playthings, playground, and the most importantly of all, your playmates. So how do you determine who to associate with based on your goals? Well, number one, does that person honor you and treat you in a way that's consistent with the way you want to be? If a person does not, you know, there's a great power in being liked. I'm going to do a whole piece once on the power of being liked. When people like you, it creates a harmonic relationship between you and that person or those persons that give you a whole nother level of magnetism to attract into your space that which you're seeking, your goals. You know, in the Bible it said that when 2 or more are gathered on one accord, I am is there. And I am is making power, the power to make things happen. And so your associations are so powerful when you can combine with people who support your goals, your vision, and your purpose. If you're in an environment with someone that you cannot share your goals, your vision, and your purpose with, then you need to run. The mastermind principle says that those that you surround yourself with creates a third mind, a making power that attracts into your space things that are consistent with that collective vibration. So if you surround yourself with negative people who don't honor you, people who disrespect you, then you're just setting yourself up to attract dishonor, disrespect, and failure into your life experience. And so, folks, a key point in looking at the people you want to keep around you, do they listen to you? You know, someone says, well, how do you determine if a person really cares about me, if they honor me, if they respect me? Well, the simplest thing is, do they listen? You know, with children, there was a nice saying, and says, how do you spell love to a child? How does a child spell love? The word L-O-V-E. And it says a child spells love T-I-M-E. And so as you begin to surround yourself with people who honor you, who create a vibration with you that is consistent with your goals, your vision, and your purpose. So the new you is a person who has new thoughts, thoughts of possibility, can-do thoughts, positive thoughts, thoughts that embrace and enhance and are congruent with their goals. The new you is a person whose emotional foundation is, we call it 10 feet tall and bazooka proof. Nothing can make you question yourself, that failure is just a dress rehearsal for success, and rejection is just another experience. It has nothing to do with you. Okay? That your emotional state, you're like a bulletproof barrier, that only things can penetrate your psyche, things that are consistent with it and support your goals. The new you has habits, success habits. The new you has habits that support what you're doing, where you're going, and who you want to be. The new you has habits that realize that How do you eat an elephant? Bite by bite. How do you build a dream? Day by day. So the new habits are daily activities that keep you on track to achieve your goals. And then finally, the new you surrounds him or herself, with people who support their goals, who support their vision, and who look forward to where they want to be. Folks, it has been my honor to share with you today, and we know that the best is yet to come because the new you has the thoughts, the emotional foundation, the habits, and the associations that make success a direct result. So my words in closing to you are only success. The best is yet to come.